So today, we're going to be talking about the 7 line today. Starting at Flushing Main Street. So at Flushing Main Street is a terminus station, and it's the only station that has a 3-track terminus station. Now let's go on to Mets Willets Point. So Mets Willets Point used to be called Mets Willets Point Shade Stadium because the baseball team Mets play stadium is near Mets Willets Point. And there's a terminus station and there's 2 tracks you could terminate, but there's not 3 because one of them is for the Manhattan-bound track. At 111th Street, just opened. Just reopened like a couple minutes ago. And 111th Street is a terminus station because there's a yard called Corona Yard. Yeah. So 103rd Street is a station that has Corona because it reminds them of Corona because of 2020. And then at Junction Boulevard, it's not a terminus station, but it's an express stop. And I don't know why it's not. I think it's a terminus station, but I don't know. And then at 90th Street, at Elmhurst Avenue, and I think you can transfer to the M&R trains at Elmhurst Avenue, and So at 82nd Street, Jackson Heights is another station that was reopened because of scheduled maintenance. Sorry. And then at 74th Street, Broadway is a terminus station, and you can transfer to the E, F, M, and R trains. And then at 69th Street is the only station that's called 69th Street. And then at Woodside 61st Street, 7 express trains skip this station because of maintenance. I guess on the platforms, or on the track. And then at 52nd Street, there's not much history at 52nd Street. But at 46th Street, is the only station called 46th Street. And at 40th Street, Lowry Street is the only station called that too. And then at 33rd Street, Rawson Avenue, this station is the first station before going to the upper level. This station is the last station before going into Long Island City. And then at Queensboro Plaza, you can transfer to the N&W trains across the platform. And then this is the only station you can transfer to the B&D. And then at Court Square is the last stop for the G train, actually. But you can transfer to the E, G, and M trains. At Hunters Point Avenue is a terminus station, I think. Yeah, it's a terminus station. Also Queensboro Plaza too. And then you can transfer to the Long Island Railroad. And then at Vernon Boulevard, Jackson Avenue, this is a terminus station for 7 shuttle trains. And this is the last station in Queens until 34th Street, Hudson Yards. And then at Grand Central was a terminus station too. At Grand Central, you can transfer to the 42nd Street Shuttle 4, 5, and 6 trains. And then at Fifth Avenue, you can transfer to the 123 ACE, BDFM, and QR and W trains. Because there's a passageway between 42nd Street Bryant Park and Times Square 42nd Street. Times Square 42nd Street used to be a terminus station, and it's still a terminus station when it's like track maintenance. And Times Square 42nd Street is the busiest station of all times. And then at the last stop, 34th Street Hudson Yards, is the newest station in the New York City subway. And then there's a yard to it. And that will be the end for the 7 train video. And I'll see y'all in the 7 express train video. Bye.